Warm morning to all of you. I am Dr. Madhuri Sadkir, Assistant Professor in the Department of Physical Education, University of Mumbai. I am serving in the field of physical education and sports from last 10 years. Volleyball is my specialization and I completed my diploma in volleyball coaching from NIS Patiala. I am also certified level 1 volleyball coach. Today I am going to talk on coaching point of view. What are the considerations which are very important to build and uplift our athlete performance? So I'm going to start my presentation. First of all, we are going to see the overview of basic considerations. Which are the basic considerations as a coach we should know? The first and foremost important is prerequisites of sports. What are the prerequisites of my sports? For example, in sports like volleyball and basketball, the height is a prerequisite and then rest of the factor enlisted. Likewise, you should know what is the prerequisites of your own sports. Second important thing is, I should completely aware of what are the criteria to enroll any player in sports. So here I would like to mention the criteria means the talent identification process. Here you should know what basic elements should be there in the athlete. Third important thing is a mass active participation. Mass active participation will give you the scope to filter the right talent at right age, right participation at right competition. Third most important thing, we should run or we should move along with the international trends. So what are the international trends in a recent scenario in coaching and in training we should aware of? And we should develop our designing or develop our drills or develop our strategies on the basis of this recent international trends. Next is complete knowledge of different stages of training. We must aware how many training stages are there. So if athlete or player enrolled, where it go? After finishing the first stage, where he go in the second stage, third stage, fourth stage and so on. So in the first stage, suppose this is a basic stage, then intermediate stage come, after that advanced stage come, and after that high performance stage comes. So I should know what are the stages and in every stage how I should deal with the children, how I should deal with their performances, how I should deal with their problems. Next, knowledge to use a scientific data of player performance. As a coach, we should know what scientific data we are receiving from the scientist or the team working behind the players. If we are getting physiological data or movement analysis data, if we are getting psychological feedback, if we are getting performance analysis data. So once you receive the data, you should aware what exactly this data is and how exactly this data I can use for further improvement of the player. Next important thing, complete knowledge about the training cycles, task and testing. As a coach, we should be expert in planning, in periodization, understanding and designing the training cycles and periodic testing, so that you can track your training program and you can ensure whether you are on the track or off the track. Then comes SWOT analysis for the player as well as yourself. Let's understand the root of peak performance. What is a peak performance and how it move on towards the high performance? As we all know, there are very famous and very popular personalities from the cricket, from the kabaddi and from some other games like badminton, lawn tennis. We know by name, by sports, that particular person. So it is very important that we should ensure that my product should reach to the branding level. And four, we need to understand the pathway. So the first, when the child enters in the sports, that is talent identification phase. So in talent identification phase, child is getting tested or screened through different dimensions. For example, physical dimensions. So he may have a testing of anthropometrical basis, he may have a testing on biomotor ability testing, he may have a technical point of view testing. Then physiological basis testing, then psychological basis testing, sociological based testing. Likewise, every game has their own protocols or own criteria to identify the talent at the grassroots level. Next is the planning, training and testing. So coach must aware about the planning, why he's planning, what he's planning. The training means more and methods he is using, and the testing, which motor ability he tests in what interval of the duration. Next stage is coming selection procedure. Once child undergo the enrollment and the different trainings, he gets selected for composing the team. So team composition again have a criteria to select a specific player for specific position or specific element. So selection procedure. Next come competition exposure. This is very essential. Whatever the training age of the child, he must get exposure of competition, because whatever he learned through his training, he understood, he perceived, or he used those understandings in his performances. During the competition, he uses all these aspects and find himself where he stand. So the child himself also analyzing his own performance. So it is very important in every stage of the training you should add the competition exposure. Let him face the competitive challenges, because these challenges will be the base for him or her to build further. Next comes sustainable peak performance. As a coach, we should ensure that whatever performance we are achieving, it should sustain. The athlete should be in that particular range of performance, he should not go down. As we have an example of Usain Bolt, he had given back-to-back 3 Olympics medal. It is because his performance was sustainable peak performance. In service, once the player is highlighted and sustained in their performances, they get an opportunity to enroll in service. After enrollment also, they should continue focus on sustainable performance, peak performance particularly, so that they will lead to promote by the different agencies and they became a brand for the different agencies. So it is very, very important that athletes should not reach only till national participation or only international participation. He should look after how long I'm there in the zone of peak performance, means how long I'm sustaining in the international competition, how long somebody paying me as their brand ambassador. That is very, very important, and that is what the challenge of peak performance. What is the role of coach on this pathway? This is very important. The coach is a backbone of this high performance. Reason behind, he knows the in and outs of this particular game. He knows everything technical, tactical and strategic pathway. So the coach is not only the coaching, he work as a mentor, he work as a director because he gives direction, and he work as an analyzer because he analyzes the performance of the player. I have seen few coaches from my own field, volleyball, is when they are giving training, they are not sitting on the chair or the bench. They are just standing on the ground and they are just keenly observing their children's or the players so that they can identify where the child is going wrong and they immediately goes and correct that players. It means we should be very spontaneous to give feedback. We should ensure the meaning of that particular session. That session should worth what we deliver or why we conduct it. So the children's or the players also feel respect towards the coach, that my coach is putting so much efforts. I should also go in same line. Now we are going to see what is the role of coach. Here you can see the multi-dimensional role of the coach. He works as a mentor, he works as a teacher. So he is a friend, he is a teacher who teach the player initial things, fundamental things. Those fundamental things he trained the child as a trainer. He inculcate those things in the child or the players. He's a communicator. He always try to give the best to the player. He always try to build a good relationship among the players and in the team. He is a good communicator to convey what exactly his expectation from his player and what his player should perform. He's an expert, he's an advisor of that particular game. He is a motivator. He motivates players with a prompt keywords so that there is a bounding between the player and coach. When the coach says that particular code, he understands what he has to do. Then come manager. He manage, he organize, he take care of all the essential factors, all the essential things which is required to boost the athlete performance, which require to accelerate training program or training process. He is an analyst. He work as an analyst behind the player. He track his performance, he track his movement, he track his progression and PRO. Because the coach who gives his hard work to produce a product and then coach proudly promote his player among the society, among the fraternities, among the stakeholders, that how his player is the best in the performance. Coach must be good in competency. He must be talented to take a right decision right time, and he should be capable to perform basic and advanced things. He should be impartial towards his players and he should respect his player whatever they are. He should have desire to work passionately, because passion leads to meditate, leads to create new innovations. He should have sportsman spirit and well-disciplined behavior. He should know the accountability of his training and coaching. He should have good appearance, physically fit, well dressed up, because children many times imitate their coaches, their teachers. So it is very important what he want to pass to his children. He should act accordingly. He should be dynamic and he should be very balanced. He should be sound in sports sciences. He should be well or established speaker, counselor and motivator, because communication is very, very important from the coaching point of view. He should be educator, observer and analyzer, and he should possess a moral character. Coaching is a process. When we start coaching at the basic stage, talent identification takes place. Once the child enrolled in the sports, coach train that child as per his objective, and he inculcate, build and develop the base. That may be the biomotor base, that may be the raw learning of techniques, that may be making understand about the rules and regulation and structure and characteristics of the game. Once that base is formed, the coach take him towards the technical conversions. In technical conversion, coach teaches technical, tactical, strategical aspect to the child as per his training age or as per his training stage. When the child learn all this technical, tactical and strategical aspect, he advances where he can see his development, improvement. And to motivate the players, it is very important to introduce some of the challenges on his pathway. Now what kind of challenges is? So it is in form of the exposure. Now what kind of exposure? It is a competition exposure. So here at the basic stage, we can design modified games which will help them to perform easily, and they will go through all those difficulties, challenges which is difficult for them to overcome. But their impact will remain with them for further improvement. And from there he moves towards the next level. So this next level begins with, again, inculcate, build and development of the base. Because now we are in the intermediate phase and we are moving towards the advancement. So in this situation, the basic elements of the biomotor are different, little advanced than the basic one. And here the child is getting more a specific kind of training to build a specific kind of motor abilities. From here again he moves towards the technical conversion. Here he learn advanced technique, tactic and strategies. After learning or after inculcating all those things, he moved towards the advancement and he play friendly matches or the routine matches among the teammates. And then stage come where the team or the players are getting exposure to compete with the outsiders. When this competition meets, again they undergo many difficulties and many challenges, and here itself they come to know what is their strength and what is their weaknesses. From here they again take a new start, and that is next level of planning. Now this phase is called advanced to high performance stage. The same circle will be repeated with the demands and requirements of advanced level of performance, and then the child enters into the high performance stage. How to use planning cycle? So we understood entire process. Now how to use the planning cycle? So first of all, whenever you think about the planning cycle, you consider first what is the chronological, biological and training age of the child, because every individual is a different. So the adaptation, perception and performance standard goes different, and that is why it is very, very important what is his birth age, that is a chronological age. What is his biological age, means how his organ functions as per his age. And what is his training age, means from how many years he is in the training, right? After that, decide your objective for what you want to train your child or the player, and accordingly you adopt annual plan or you design annual plan where you can decide his main competition. So if it is a single competition, you are following the single periodization. If there is a 2-time competition coming, means the player goes 2 times at the peak performance, means the double periodization you follow. And triple periodization means in a year he comes to the peak performance twice. So the triple periodization or multiple periodization, it's depend upon the what is the stage of training, what is the standard of his performance, and what is your objective to train him. So we have to simply design a periodization on the basis of objective of your training. Period. Period means in the periodization there is a three major periods or phases, you can say. Preparation phase, competition phase and the transition phase. So in preparation phase we prepare athlete from the general and spatial preparation point of view. And in competition we prepare athlete spatial, technical, tactical and competitive point of view. And then transition is leading to your recovery, active recovery phase. Let's understand what is a macro. Macro, it looks like big. So macro means the big. I'll just show you here. This is a triangle. You can see on a top, that is a top. I'm just indicating the top portion is a power, powering, leadership, or you can say the boss. Okay. So the boss of entire periodization is a macro. So macro is a big cycle. Okay, it is a 1 year annual training program. The entire period comes under the one macro. Okay, then after comes meso and then again comes micro. Okay, so macro, meso and micro. This way it goes. Macro, the most important but single. Meso, the second important stage or second important cycle but multiple. And micro is a third important stage but very important stage where actual our training and our program take place. So that is a micro. And after micro, the how micro functions, the micro functions on the session basis. So the session is very, very important. Now we're coming back to the phases. Now you can see here under the macro cycle I mentioned preparation, competition and transition. What does mean this? Preparation means we are preparing the athlete from general and specific point of view. So the load we design initially 60-40 ratio or 80-20 ratio, and then slowly we are interchanging the load and we are giving more importance to the specific and we are reducing the intensity or load of the general. And in competition phase we work more on the specific, technical, tactical and build-up competitions. So that these are very, very nearby close situation to the competition situation, so that athlete should feel very friendly with his main competition. And the last is transition. Transition means the recovery phase. Now we are coming to the mesocycle. Mesocycles are second cycles as I mentioned earlier. So every meso has certain objective or certain goals. So in the first meso, suppose it is a preparation and developmental. Second meso is working on stabilizing that or sustaining that performance. Third meso may work on the pre-competition preparation. Fifth meso may work on the competitive phase, and the last may work on the recovery phase. Microcycle is the smallest cycle of periodization. Whatever planning we prepare, that all planning take place in the microcycle. So the microcycle works in the sessions. So every micro may have 8 to 10 sessions or more number of sessions. It's depend upon in one single day how many sessions they design. So these microcycles work according to the objective of the mesocycles. So under every meso there are multiple microcycles and they work to fulfill the goal of that particular mesocycle. So it may be developmental, maintenance, reduction, peak performance and transition. Likewise, the planning cycle takes place. At the end of every meso or at the end of 3 micros, evaluation may take place. That is called determined periodic evaluation or testing, where you can see exact what happens with your training program, where you can see the effect of your training program, how your training moves. Every coach must answer himself about these 4 questions. Why I am coaching? To whom I am coaching? What is my training means and modes or methods? How I am coaching? So these are the basic questions. Whenever you design your program, you must ask these basic questions, and many more questions are there. It is depends upon the how you design your program, what is your objective and what is your population or the target sample on whom you are conducting training program. Coaching methods. There are some coaching methods which I mentioned over here. Situational training. This is one of the very popular and very useful training method. Situational training means you enlist the situation which take place during the competition, and then you design your drills according to that situations, and then ask your players to undergo that situation or the drills or to perform those particular drills. It helps coach and players to become more familiar or more friendly with those drills or those situations, so that whenever they meet this situation during the competitions, they will easily overcome this situation or they will easily handle these situations. Next is the pressure training. Pressure training is very effective. You can use after the advanced stage because it is very challenging. It is a energy based, it is a perfection based, because here your performance should not drop down. That is a condition when you are using pressure training. For example, if I want to train my blocker in volleyball, if I'm asking him to perform 25 blocks against the attack, and every block should be cover maximum portion of the ball. So in this case, opponent side, the attackers performing attack from center, counter and the zone number 2. And he used to move according to the block and attempt the block. So here we can count how many blocks was accurate, what was his exertion rate and many things. So this is very fantastic training method. Tactical training. Tactical training means a coach design his own strategy to perform during the competition. So according to the strategy, what tactics will be used during competition by player or by a team, that is decided or that is inculcated through the tactical training. Okay, second is a flipped class method, which is very effective in the classroom teaching, because in this method teacher is giving advanced material to the student to read. They go through the material, and when they come to the class, advanced level of teaching take place. So whatever the teacher teaching to the children in the classroom, it is easily understood by the student, and more time can be spent on discussion. Same way we can use this method on the training and coaching. We can provide some material to the players, we can ask them to go through, and when they are coming to next session, they will be understood the fundamental information about that particular session. And coach can save time by giving a minimum instruction, explanation and demonstration. So 1 or 2 demonstration about the drills will be enough to understand by the players. So the more time will be given for the practical work or the practice work. During practice, more correction can be done and the learning can move towards the perfection. Drill designing is one of the very important work or task of the coach. Coach must be enough matured to design his own drills rather than always adopting from available sources, because his standard of the team, player performance and what strategy he designed, and as per that what kind of movement or what kind of goal he designed. To obtain that or to achieve that goals, it is very important that foot movement pattern, starting position, ending position, transitions, these all things should be designed by the coach himself, so that whatever he planned, the student will act accordingly. which required a proper sequence of events, means where which drill you are going to, means suppose it is just like in circuit training, just like a station training, just like a drill to drill, a drill variations training. Okay, so it is all depends upon the creativity, and he should ensure as a coach that proper stress is going on athlete. It is not too, it is not high stress, it is not under stress, and he should aware that whatever he want to pass, it is reaching to the player. Observation, feedback and solutions. This is continuous work. The coach is doing continuous this work. So he keep on observing, he provides feedback or solutions so that the every athlete there itself get corrected, and that improvement helps to move upon the next step. SWOT analysis. This is one of the method you can analyze your players yourself. So SWOT analysis means strength of your team, of your players, weakness of your team, of your players, opportunity given by the opponents, by the organizer, by the sponsors, by the home field, or by the environment, whatever may be the opportunities. And threat means what challenges are there from the opponent, which is difficult for you now to overcome, or you can develop your own strategy to overcome those challenges. Okay, SWOT analysis is one of the very best tool I can say, which is used in the management for understanding the strength and weakness of the organization and the process. We can use this technique in our coaching and training as well. We can identify our athletes in the different zones or in the different sections. Suppose my athlete is very good in the strength. So the explosive strength which is required for volleyball is very good, but he is not good in the shoulder velocity. So what will happen? His timing, his power of attack and his effect of attack will impact. So I have to analyze what exactly is a weak point and what is another strong point. Okay. Then mental abilities. What is strong point? He's very aggressive player. He dominates the play. But then his weak point is somebody voiced him from the opponent side, or somebody pointed his mistake during the play, or they started losing points or losing some rallies, and then the internal environment of the team get disturbed and they're not able to come back to the match tempo. Opportunity or opponent's team standard is not very good. That is opportunity. Whatever game strategy opponent are using, it is very basic for my team. Threat. The person who is very good, very good in the attack, who can break the maximum blockers also. So that is a threat for me. Sometimes audience pressure, because audience, suppose sometimes audience are much favoring to the team, and that time whatever the words they are using and the way they are cheering their team and opposing our team, that may be one of the threat that my team may go in a psychologically down. Coach need to do self-analysis also. It is very important, and he should ask, am I meeting to my goal? So he can analyze with these different factors like planning. He must analyze his planning, strength, weakness, opportunity and threats. He must analyze his training program. He must analyze his tactical and strategic plans. What is his philosophy towards his team and coaching? Whether it is sustainable, whether it is contributing, or it is an obstacle. The way he handle team, he must analyze. Can he handle the aggressive players? Can he handle very mute players? So this is one of the challenge, that some players doesn't speak, and then coach doesn't understand how to deal with that particular player. So he has to take care of his own psychology as well as the team or player psychology. Social relationship, how my relation with other coaches, how my relation with organizations or association or federations, that matters a lot, because many times it happens that because of social relationship, even players performance get influenced. So today's lecture's takeaway is talent identification is very, very important. We need to work on that as a coach. Training as per the trends, because we have to sustain in today's competition. Inculcate observation skill in the players. You should teach your players to observe, keep observing, and keep writing your own diaries, what you observe in certain team. Observation is not only the analyzer job, it is a job of the player as well, so that while playing they can easily read the movement and action and the combination of the opponent team. SWOT analysis, it is very important. The way changes take place in the children, SWOT analysis keep changing. So you have to add this particular technique in your routine, that you should have a SWOT analysis. Appreciation and team building. Appreciation to individual and appreciation to the team. Build a team together or hold the team cohesion, team dynamism. So it is very important, we should build a team together. Ensure progressive adaptation. When you're training, when you're coaching, you should ensure the adaptation goes on progression, and promote active and mass participation. You have to promote active and mass participation. Don't run behind only the champions. Don't run behind only the champions. It is a job of coach that they should generate interest in those players those are not very good in their performances, in those players those are not coming on regular basis for the training or coaching. So we need mass, but the mass should be very active in the end. So my message at the end of this presentation is, team success is your success. So don't consider your success something separate or something different. Your team comes to the title, definitely you come to the title, you come to the achievement, you come to the top. With this, I would like to thank you so much to everyone for listening me. If you have any question, please write me on volleyballcoach47@gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram 27 top of the world. And whatever I feel which is very essential, very considerable, which are the markers in the coaching, I contributed from my end. Thank you once again, organizer, for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to talk. Thank you.